She whispered, "Our children would be beautiful." But she belonged to another house. Listen carefully. Because this story is not just about war. It is about what happens when you corner a human. And if you know anything about humans, you know that's a bad move. New Canaan was a peaceful world, a quiet green planet where children chased glowing insects at night, where families cooked together in warm kitchens, where farmers woke early and miners returned home tired but content. No soldiers marching in the streets, no war machines, no fear. People believed the galaxy was safe now. They believed diplomacy worked. They believed humanity had finally found peace. They were wrong. It began on a calm afternoon. No alarms, no warnings, just a strange vibration in the air as birds fell silent and the wind seemed to stop breathing. People looked up, confused, and then the sky split open. Black ships, thousands of them, crawled out of hyperspace like shadows with teeth. Their shapes were sharp, cruel, unnatural. Not ships made for exploring, ships made for owning. The Wrath Collective had arrived. They did not send a message. They did not ask for negotiation. They did not offer surrender terms. They simply opened fire. A beam of white energy lanced down, striking the capital city's communications tower. It didn't explode, it simply ceased to exist, turned to fine ash. Then another strike hit the power grid, then the transit station, then the water plant. The world went dark in moments. Panic spread. Families ran. Emergency broadcasts fell silent. But the Wrath were not finished. Their dropships slammed into the ground like falling meteors. Their soldiers marched out in perfect formation, tall, armored in black segments, eyes glowing red with cold intelligence. Their voices were metallic and emotionless. "Civilians, gather in the streets. Resistance will be erased. No shouting. No cruelty. Just chilling efficiency." Like this was just another day for them, and maybe it was. Humans were lined up, separated, sorted, some taken away. No one saw them again. Children cried. Parents trembled. No hero came, at least not yet. 17 kilometers from the city, in a cabin at the edge of the mountain forest, one man watched the sky burn. His name was Sergeant Leon Hale, a man who once walked battlefields across distant stars, a man who trained to survive where no one should, a man who had seen death and walked away from it, a man who thought he was done with war. He had retired here to escape memories of blood and fire. He planted a garden. He built a simple home. He wanted peace now, but peace did not want him. When the first Wrath ships blotted out the sun, Leon did not scream. He did not run. He did not freeze. His breathing slowed. His heartbeat steadied. His eyes became cold. Because this was familiar. He moved through his cabin like a machine coming back to life. Floorboards lifted. A hidden storage compartment opened. Metal glinted in the shadows. His old rifle, hand-tuned, no fancy sci-fi tech, but deadly accurate. Beside it, a combat knife, rations, medical kit, camouflage cloak. Tools of a man who never completely let go. He strapped on the rifle and stepped outside. In the valley below, the Wrath rounded up humans like livestock. The commander's voice boomed from a loudspeaker. "You are a weak species. You will obey." Resistance is pointless, and something inside Leon Hale snapped, not into anger, not into grief, but into purpose, a switch only humans have. He whispered to himself, so soft the wind barely heard it. "You shouldn't have come here." Then he disappeared into the forest. In the city, fear grew, but so did whispers. Whispers of someone striking back, a supply transport destroyed in the night, no tracks. A recon squad vanished without sound, no bodies. A drone station found with every circuit fried, manually. The Wrath spoke the name with irritation. The Ghost. The civilians spoke it with hope. The Ghost, two different meanings. Same person, Leon Hale, one man against an empire. But humans don't fight alone for long. Every insurgency begins with a spark, and Leon Hale was a wildfire waiting to happen. Are you listening? Because this is where the story truly begins. The Wrath believe they have won. They believe humans will bend. They believe fear will control us. But they have forgotten something ancient. Humans don't bow. Humans bite, and humans bite back hard. So if you want to know what happens when an empire underestimates humanity, stay for part 2, because the ghost is done hiding, and the galaxy is about to learn why you messed with humans. Bad move. Part 2. The ghost in the hills before we continue. Remember this, the Vrath believed the humans were finished. They believed fear would break the colony, but they forgot something ancient and dangerous. Humans don't break the way other species do. When humans break, they sharpen. The forests of New Canaan were old and deep, full of tall needle trees and winding streams. The mountains were silent, except for one sound. A quiet, controlled breath. Leon Hale moved like smoke between the trees, silent footsteps leaving no trace. He watched the Vrath patrols with calm, steady eyes. They were disciplined, yes. Well-armed, yes. More advanced, yes. But they were missing one thing. Experience fighting humans, up close, on the ground, where instincts matter more than technology. Leon studied the patrols for days. He learned their routines. Shift changes, drone patterns. Blind spots. He didn't strike out of anger. He struck when the moment was perfect. The first ambush was small, only a supply transport escort convoy. 4 Vrath soldiers. 1 drone. Easy for him. He waited on a ridge overlooking a narrow bridge. When the transport crossed, he pulled the trigger once, not twice. Not rapid fire. Just one precise shot. The drone fell first. Without the drone, the Vrath were blind. Next came the sound trap. A stone tied to a length of wire dropped downstream. The rushing water echoed strangely between rocks, sounding like footsteps. The Vrath turned to face the wrong direction. Leon moved in behind them. 3 seconds. 4 bodies on the ground. No wasted bullets, no noise. No hesitation. He didn't fight like a soldier anymore. He fought like a force of nature. At first, the Vrath commander thought the losses were mechanical failure. Then bad luck. Then sabotage. But when more patrols disappeared, when supply routes collapsed, when drones started returning with nothing but static, the Vrath soldiers whispered among themselves, "The ghost is watching. They said he moved without footprints. They said he saw in the dark. They said he could not die." Of course, none of that was true. Leon was human, which made him much more dangerous. Deep inside the mountains, Leon found survivors, families hiding, wounded hiding, people barely holding on. They recognized him immediately. "Sergeant Hale? You're alive?" He nodded once. Hope returned to their faces like fire in cold ash. We thought we were alone." "You're not," Leon said simply. He helped them establish hidden shelters. Taught them how to stay unseen, how to ration food, how to move at night. He wasn't building an army yet, not now. Not until he understood exactly what they were facing. But the spark was there. The Vrath could feel it. And the Vrath do not like fire, so they sent hunters, not soldiers. Not patrols, hunters, the Vrath elite, silent killers bred for tracking, stalking, eliminating targets. They moved like shadows. They spoke little. They took trophies. They believed themselves unstoppable. They did not know the land. They did not know the weather. They did not know the man they were chasing. Leon watched them from above, from high cliffs where wind erased all scent. He marked their positions, counted their ammunition, measured their timing. He smiled. Finally, a challenge. The hunters entered the old forest ravine at dusk. The trees stood so close together that no drone could fly between them. The perfect terrain. For the wrong side, Leon's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "You shouldn't have come here." The hunters spun, raising their weapons. Too late. The first trap was simple. A log suspended by vine and counterweight. It swung down at chest height with brutal speed. The first hunter's armor cracked like thin ice. The second trap was quieter, a snare loop hidden under leaves. A leg jerked upward. A scream was cut off by Leon's knife. The remaining hunters panicked, and humans always study fear better than any predator. Leon stepped from the shadows, calm, controlled, silent. The last hunter tried to speak. What are you?" Leon didn't answer. He didn't need to. The hunter already knew. He was human, and humans adapt. The Vrath commander slammed his fist into the command table. "This is impossible." "One human cannot do this." The room fell silent, because deep down, every Wrath officer realized the truth. One human could. And if one human could. How many more were waiting? Now the Wrath are afraid. Now they realize the colony is not defeated. Now they understand you don't hunt a human. You survive a human. But this war is only beginning. If you want to see what happens when the humans stop hiding and start fighting, then you need to hear Part 3. Part 3. The message. Listen very carefully. There is a moment in every war when fear changes sides. At first, the humans were afraid. They ran, they hid, they trembled. But now? Now the Wrath were afraid. Their patrols walked faster. Their armor clicked louder. Their voices whispered instead of commanded, because somewhere in the mountains, the Ghost was watching. The Wrath commander, Khan Vale, stood in his mobile command tent, staring at holographic maps. His jaw twitched with silent anger. Entire patrols missing. Supply drops gone. Hunters, his best hunters, never returned. He slammed a clawed hand down. This is not a war, he growled to his officers. This is humiliation. One of his soldiers swallowed nervously. We believe the human is ex-military, Commander. Khan turned his burning red eyes on him. One man is costing us an entire battalion. The soldier did not answer, because the answer was yes. High in the mountains, in a cave lit by a small fire, Leon Hale cleaned his rifle in silence. His movements were slow and sure, not rushed, not emotional, controlled. A group of survivors sat nearby, children, elders, workers, watching him like he was something out of legend. One of the younger men, maybe 19, finally asked, "How do you fight them?" "They have better armor, better weapons, better everything." Leon didn't look up. "They don't have better hearts." The cave went quiet. Another survivor asked softly, Are we going to die?" Leon slid the last piece of his rifle into place and stood. "Everyone dies someday," he said calmly. "But today is not that day." The survivors felt something ignite inside them. Not anger, not revenge. Hope. Leon needed information. If he knew what the Wrath planned next, he could stay ahead of them. So he set a trap. Not a physical one this time, but a psychological one. He let himself be seen, not caught. Not surrounded, just seen. He stepped into the open. On a ridge above a Wrath patrol, the Wrath captain froze. There he was. The Ghost. Leon raised his hands, not surrendering, but showing calm. "You're going to deliver a message," he said. The Wrath captain aimed his weapon. Leon did not flinch. "You will return to your commander," Leon said. "You will tell him this world is not his. You will tell him humans do not kneel, not now, not ever." The Wrath captain hesitated. Leon stepped closer. "No matter how strong you think you are, humans adapt. We learn, we endure. We fight, and we win." Leon held the captain's gaze. "Tell him I said this." "I am not finished." Then Leon disappeared. Back into the trees, silent and fast, the Wrath captain did exactly what he was told. Fear obeys quicker than loyalty, Shu. Message hit the Wrath camp like a shockwave. The hunters who survived were trembling. Some removed their helmets to breathe. Others refused to sleep near the forest edge. Commander Carnvel smashed a holo projector. "He thinks this world belongs to him?" Khan roared. His officer answered carefully, "No, Commander. He thinks it belongs to humans." Karn's voice dropped to something cold. "Then we will. Show him what happens to those who defy the Wrath." He pointed to a map. "Burn the mountains." The officer hesitated, but Commander. "There are civilians hiding there." Karn's voice cut like a blade. "Burn the mountains." The Wrath soldiers saluted. A terrible command accepted. In the cave, Leon felt the ground tremble. The Wrath had begun scorched earth tactics, flame projectors, airstrike drones, fire rolling through forests like a hungry beast. The survivors panicked. "We have to run." "Where do we go?" Leon raised one hand, calm as a frozen river. "Listen." The flames crackled closer. Leon's voice remained steady. "This is what they always do when they are losing. They destroy what they cannot control." The survivors watched him, breathless. Leon looked at the fire, then at them. No more running. He stepped forward, shoulders squared. "It's time." "Time for what?" A survivor whispered. Leon answered. Time to fight back. This is the turning point. The Vrath thought they were hunters. But now they learn humans are not prey. Humans are predators who remember. If you want to see the rebellion begin, if you want to hear how farmers and miners stand beside a soldier to become something unstoppable. Part 4. The hunters become the hunted. Before we continue, remember this one truth. When humans fight, they fight to survive. But when humans fight for their home, they become something far more dangerous, and the Vrath were about to find out exactly what that meant. The forests of New Canaan burned. Flames climbed trees like devils dancing in orange light. Smoke rolled across the mountains, thick and suffocating. Wildlife fled. Ash fell like snow. The Vrath scorched the land to starve out the survivors, to flush Leon Hale from the shadows. But the Vrath misunderstood something ancient. Humans do not panic when cornered. They hunt. Inside a stone ravine hidden from fire, Leon stood before the survivors, now dozens of them. Farmers, miners, mechanics, teenagers, elders. Not soldiers, not warriors, but they were human, and that was enough. Leon spoke calmly, his voice steady even as fire glowed behind him. They burn our forests because they are afraid of what lives inside them. Someone whispered, "Us?" Leon shook his head. "No, you." They stared at him, unsure. But Leon was patient. "Listen to me. The Vrath think strength is power. They think armor, machines, and numbers make them unstoppable." He paused. "But humans have something stronger," a young man asked, voice trembling. "What do we have?" Leon looked them all in the eyes. "We have each other." Silence. Then something sparked in their faces, not courage, resolve. Leon began training them, not like soldiers. Like survivors. He taught them how to move quietly through the forest floor, how to use shadow and silence instead of brute force. How to track without being tracked. How to watch without being seen. Simple skills. Old skills. Human skills. A small girl learned how to braid rope for traps. A miner learned how to make smoke signals invisible to drones. A farmer learned how to move in darkness by sound alone. No one became a warrior overnight, but everyone became dangerous. Meanwhile, the Vrath hunters searched the burning forest. They moved cautiously now, slower, jumpy, scared. Their armor was advanced, yes. Their weapons powerful, yes. But the forest was no longer obeying them. The terrain belonged to humans now, and humans are masters of environment. Vrath Hunter stopped to check his scanner. The air was too quiet. Movement, 3 meters. Snap, a rope-triggered counterweight trap lifted him upside down, hanging helplessly. He screamed, but the forest swallowed the sound. Another hunter rushed to free him, just in time to step on a pressure trigger. A log swung down at lethal speed. Armor cracked. Silence returned. This was not luck. This was Leon's strategy. Hit small, hit fast. Hit quiet, disappear. The Vrath commander's anger turned into something he had never experienced before. Fear. When night came, Leon moved. He approached a Vrath outpost hidden in the valley. Floodlights swept the clearing. Patrol drones circled overhead. Soldiers stood guard. Leon watched from a ridge. Behind him, the survivors waited for orders. Some shook. Some prayed. Some stared, all afraid. Leon spoke softly, not to calm them, but to focus them. You do not need to be fearless to fight. You only need to move forward anyway. Their fear steadied. Their hands stopped shaking. Leon raised his fist. The humans moved. Silent, coordinated, precise. They cut power cables. They jammed drone signals. They triggered noise distractions to split patrols. Then the humans struck, not like soldiers. Like shadows, a shovel, a knife, a thrown rock, a bow made from tree limbs, simple tools, but wielded by human will. The Vrath never stood a chance. By dawn, the outpost was gone, not destroyed, taken. Humans now had weapons, armor, maps, communication codes. The war had changed. The hunted had become the hunters. The survivors stood around Leon, breathing hard, eyes shining. What now? One asked. Leon looked toward the burning horizon. Now, he said, we spread. Because one human is dangerous. But a village of humans? A town of humans? A planet of humans? That is something an empire cannot kill. The rebellion had begun. The Vrath thought they were ending resistance. Instead, they created something unstoppable. Now, humanity is stepping out of the shadows. Now the fire of rebellion is spreading. Now every human on New Canaan is ready to fight. But what will the Vrath do when they realize the humans are no longer hiding? Part 5, The Uprising. Listen closely, because this is where everything changes. Until now, the war had been small, silent, hidden in the trees. But war does not stay quiet forever. There comes a moment when fear becomes anger, and anger becomes fire. That moment had arrived. Smoke still rose from the burned forests. The land was scarred, homes destroyed, families broken. But instead of crushing the humans, the Vrath had forged them. In the mountain valley, now a growing base of survivors, Leon Hale stood before a crowd that was no longer frightened. Their faces were rough with ash, their clothes torn, their hands blistered and scarred, but their eyes burned with one thing: determination. Leon didn't speak loudly. He didn't have to. Look around you, he said. This is our home. People nodded. Silent. They thought burning our world would end us. He shook his head slowly. But they only burned away our fear. The air grew still. We are not soldiers, Leon said. And we don't need to be. He pointed to the survivors around him. Farmers, teachers, miners, children now older than their age. We are humans. And that is enough. A murmur spread through the crowd. Not cheering. Not chanting. Something stronger. Belief. Across the colony, others were already rising. Word of the ghost had spread. Small resistance groups attacked Vrath checkpoints. Workers sabotaged fuel lines. Miners collapsed tunnels under enemy vehicles. Scouts mapped hidden routes between all settlements. The Vrath suddenly found themselves fighting everywhere. No safe roads. No silent nights. No confidence. The colony that had been weak was now a razor in the dark. Commander Karn. Vale felt pressure tightening around his chest. Explain how these humans are coordinating, he demanded. His officers did not have answers. We cut communications. We control the city. We destroyed their networks. There is no way for them to organize. But there was, because humans don't need technology to unite. They need a shared purpose, and nothing unites humans faster than they are trying to take our home. Meanwhile, Leon studied a captured holomap of Vrath strongpoints. He pointed to 3 red markers: their supply hub, their fuel depot, their drone relay station. A young miner asked, "Which one do we attack?" Leon looked him in the eyes. All of them. Gasps. Shock. That's suicide. No, Leon said calmly. That's synchronization. If the Vrath lost their drones,
their fuel,
and their supply lines, their entire occupation would collapse, not in months, not in weeks, in a single night. The survivors looked at Leon like he was asking them to fight a storm with bare hands. But then, they remembered something. They already survived the storm. Now they were the ones bringing it. The night of the uprising arrived, cold, quiet, moonless, perfect Leon. Divided the rebels into 3 groups. Group 1, the valley miners. Hardened, steady, used to darkness. Their target, the fuel depot. Group 2, the forest farmers. Fast, silent, comfortable moving, unseen. Their target, the drone station. Group 3, Leon's group, the most dangerous one. Their target, the main supply hub, guarded by dozens of Vrath soldiers. Leon's voice echoed through the cave one last time. Tonight, we do not fight to survive. The rebels watched him. Tonight, we fight to live. The strikes happened like thunder in 3 different corners of the colony. At the fuel depot, the miners moved through shadows, placing explosive charges beneath fuel tanks. They did not run when discovered. They faced the Vrath with pickaxes and welding torches. They lit the fuse. The night exploded. Fire roared so bright the sky turned gold. At the drone station, the farmers used smoke from burning resin to blind scanners and block infrared. They climbed walls with rope and bare hands. They jammed the relay tower with a mining laser. The Vrath lost their eyes. The drones went dark. At the supply hub, Leon and his strike team moved like wind through tall grass. unseen until too late. Leon's rifle fired once, then twice, then silence. A Wrath officer crawled backward, shaking. "What are you?" he gasped. Leon reloaded calmly. Human. Then the supply hub fell. By sunrise, the Wrath occupation had collapsed into chaos. Their army was blind. Their vehicles empty. Their reinforcements starving. The colony was no longer controlled. It was taking itself back. Commander Karn. Vale stared at reports with disbelief. "This shouldn't be possible," he whispered. He had forgotten one thing. Humans don't need permission to fight for their freedom. They just need a reason, and now they had one. The Wrath are losing control. The humans are rising, stronger than ever, but the Wrath have a final answer. Something dark. Something powerful. Something designed to break humans completely. If you want to see the Wrath's counterstrike, and see how Leon answers with something even stronger. Part 6. The final battle begins. Before we go forward, remember this. The Wrath did not come to negotiate. They came to own humanity. But now the humans were not running, not hiding, not afraid, and nothing is more terrifying in a war than humans who have already lost everything. Because those humans have nothing left to fear. Dawn came red, not the red of sunrise, the red of burning fuel depots, fallen outposts, and shattered Wrath supply caravans. The uprising had struck the Wrath in 3 places at once, and the alien occupation was bleeding. Commander Karn Vale stood on a ruined command balcony, red smoke drifting around him like a ghostly storm. His helmet was off. His jaw clenched tight. His pride cracked in half. "You said these humans were soft," he hissed at his officers. "You said they would break," no one answered, because they had already seen the truth. Humans do not break. They bend. They adapt. And then they strike back harder. Karn activated the encrypted command beacon. A deep pulse radiated through the air. The mountain shook. The sky flickered, and from orbit, a Wrath Dreadwalker dropped, not a ship, not a soldier, a monster. A towering mech-organic war titan, 15 meters tall, built of living muscle wrapped in metal plating. It moved on 4 legs and 2 arms, its claws like burning knives, its core glowing with molten plasma. The Wrath did not use it often, because it was meant for extermination, not control. The Dreadwalker screamed, a sound like metal tearing in half. Survivors across New Canaan froze in terror. But Leon Hale didn't freeze. He looked up at the monster, calm as ever, and said, "So, they finally got serious." Leon gathered the rebels on the hill overlooking the ruined valley. Smoke curled around them. Weapons scavenged and mismatched, clothes stained with ash, eyes burning with resolve, no speeches, no dramatic lines, just the truth. "That thing down there," Leon said quietly, "it's not here to scare us." He pointed toward the approaching Titan. "It's here to kill us. All of us." The rebels swallowed hard. A child whispered, "Can we beat that?" Leon did not smile. He did not soften. "Yes," he said, "because we don't fight alone." The crowd stared at him. Leon continued, "We fight for our homes. We fight for our families. We fight for each other, and then, softly, we fight because we are human." The air tightened like a drawn bowstring. The Dreadwalker entered the valley. One step shook the ground. Thum. Another step shattered a stone. While Thum, the Wrath soldiers marched behind it, confident again. Their nightmare machine was unstoppable. A Wrath lieutenant smirked. "The ghost cannot kill a god." Leon gave the signal. Everything became fire. Miners detonated buried charges beneath the Titan's legs. The earth roared as rock and dust swallowed metal. The Dreadwalker stumbled, but did not fall. Farmers in the tree line fired crossbows tipped with explosive resin, each bolt bursting bright like fireflies of war. Mechanics launched jury-rigged EMP coils, sparking against the Titan's armor, slowing its movement. Students and elders used mirrors to blind the Wrath. Soldiers with reflected sunlight. None of these were real. Weapons, but they were human weapons. Creative, unexpected, relentless. Yet, The Titan kept coming. Leon sprinted downhill. Rifle ready, a Wrath captain aimed at him. Leon dropped into a slide, fired once. The captain fell like a stone. Leon didn't stop. He ran straight toward the Dreadwalker. The rebels gasped. That's suicide. No, said the young miner from before. That's Leon. Leon reached the giant machine. It swiped, a claw the size of a car. But Leon dove beneath it, rolled and climbed its scorched leg using exposed muscle cables as handholds. Heat burned his palms. Metal cut his fingers. Smoke choked his lungs. But he climbed anyway, because humans climb, always, near the top. Leon saw the glowing cortex core, a pulsing orb of molten energy surrounded by nerve bundles and metal. Veins, the Titan thrashed. Leon held on. He taped 3 demolition charges to the core housing, then whispered, "For New Canaan." He dropped back, rolled hard into the dirt. Boom! The core erupted, light, heat, silence. The Dreadwalker collapsed. Shaking the valley like thunder, the Wrath soldiers stared in horror. Their god had fallen to a single human. Leon rose to his feet, blood on his hands, smoke in his hair, fire behind him. He spoke loudly, not shouting, just letting everyone hear. You can invade our land. You can burn our homes. You can take everything from us. His voice hardened, slow and sharp. But we do not surrender. The rebels roared like a living storm. The Wrath soldiers felt something alien to them. Dread, because now they understood. Humans do not fear monsters. Humans make monsters afraid. The Titan has fallen. The rebellion is no longer survival. It is victory beginning, but the Wrath still have one last move. And Leon has a secret of his own left to reveal. The final confrontation is coming. Part 6. The final battle begins before we go forward. Remember this. The Wrath did not come to negotiate. They came to own humanity. But now the humans were not running, not hiding, not afraid, and nothing is more terrifying in a war than humans who have already lost everything, because those humans have nothing left to fear. Dawn came red, not the red of sunrise, the red of burning fuel depots, fallen outposts, and shattered Wrath supply caravans. The uprising had struck the Wrath in 3 places at once, and the alien occupation was bleeding. Commander Karn Vale stood on a ruined command balcony, red smoke drifting around him like a ghostly storm. His helmet was off. His jaw clenched tight. His pride cracked in half. "You said these humans were soft," he hissed at his officers. "You said they would break." No one answered, because they had already seen the truth. Humans do not break. They bend. They adapt, and then they strike back harder. Karn activated the encrypted command beacon. A deep pulse radiated through the air. The mountain shook. The sky flickered, and from orbit, a Wrath Dreadwalker dropped, not a ship, not a soldier, a monster, a towering mech-organic war titan, 15 meters tall, built of living muscle wrapped in metal plating. It moved on 4 legs and 2 arms, its claws like burning knives, its core glowing with molten plasma. The Wrath did not use it often, because it was meant for extermination, not control. The Dreadwalker screamed, a sound like metal tearing in half. Survivors across New Canaan froze in terror. But Leon Hale didn't freeze. He looked up at the monster, calm as ever, and said, "So." They finally got serious. Leon gathered the rebels on the hill overlooking the ruined valley. Smoke curled around them. Weapons scavenged and mismatched. Clothes stained with ash. Eyes burning with resolve. No speeches. No dramatic lines. Just the truth. "That thing down there?" Leon said quietly. "It's not here to scare us." He pointed toward the approaching Titan. "It's here to kill us." "All of us." The rebels swallowed hard. A child whispered, "Can we beat that?" Leon did not smile. He did not soften. "Yes," he said, "because we don't fight alone." The crowd stared at him. Leon continued, "We fight for our homes. We fight for our families. We fight for each other. And then," softly, "we fight because we are human." The air tightened like a drawn bowstring. The Dreadwalker entered the valley. 1 step shook the ground. Thum, another step shattered a stone. Wall Thum, the Vrath soldiers marched behind it, confident again. Their nightmare machine was unstoppable. A Vrath lieutenant smirked. The ghost cannot kill a god. Leon gave the signal. Everything became fire. Miners detonated buried charges beneath the Titan's legs. The earth roared as rock and dust swallowed metal. The Dreadwalkers stumbled, but did not fall. Farmers in the tree line fired crossbows tipped with explosive resin, each bolt bursting bright like fireflies of war. Mechanics launched jury-rigged EMP coils, sparking against the Titan's armor, slowing its movement. Students and elders used mirrors to blind the Vrath. Soldiers with reflected sunlight. None of these were real. Weapons, but they were human weapons, creative, unexpected, relentless. Yet, the Titan kept coming. Leon sprinted downhill. Rifle ready, a Vrath captain aimed at him. Leon dropped into a slide, fired once. The captain fell like a stone. Leon didn't stop. He ran straight toward the Dreadwalker. The rebels gasped. "That's suicide." "No," said the young miner from before. "That's Leon." Leon reached the giant machine. It swiped, a claw the size of a car, but Leon dove beneath it, rolled and climbed its scorched leg using exposed muscle cables as handholds. Heat burned his palms. Metal cut his fingers. Smoke choked his lungs, but he climbed anyway, because humans climb, always, near the top. Leon saw the glowing cortex core, a pulsing orb of molten energy surrounded by nerve bundles and metal. Veins, the Titan thrashed. Leon held on. He taped 3 demolition charges to the core housing, then whispered, "For New Canaan." He dropped back, rolled hard into the dirt. Boom! The core erupted. Light, heat, silence. The Dreadwalker collapsed. Shaking the valley like thunder, the Vrath soldiers stared in horror. Their god had fallen to a single human. Leon rose to his feet, blood on his hands, smoke in his hair, fire behind him. He spoke loudly, not shouting, just letting everyone hear. "You can invade our land. You can burn our homes. You can take everything from us." His voice hardened, slow and sharp. "But we do not surrender." The rebels roared like a living storm. The Vrath soldiers felt something alien to them. Dread, because now they understood. Humans do not fear monsters. Humans make monsters afraid. The Titan has fallen. The rebellion is no longer survival. It is victory beginning. But the Vrath still have one last move. And Leon has a secret of his own left to reveal. The final confrontation is coming. If you enjoyed this video, like this video, subscribing, and clicking the bell icon to stay updated with fresh content every day.